But first, we turn to Jacksonville, Florida, and the sentencing hearing, which is about to get underway in the pregnant niece murder trial. You can see the court seal is up. Remember, the same jury who convicted Jonathan Quillis in the murder of 16-year-old Ayanna Sawyer and her unborn child recommended a judge sentence him to life in prison without parole. And today we expect to hear one victim impact statement from Kimberly Mobley, Ayanna's mother, who testified during the trial. It is unclear if anyone from Quillis's family will speak on his behalf, but we will bring you the sentencing in its entirety coming up later, right here on Court TV. Let's now get you back into the civil trial involving Maya Kowalski. Her family is suing a Florida hospital for several allegations, including false imprisonment of Maya, false reporting of child abuse, and negligent infliction of emotional distress. Maya's father, Jack Kowalski, is now on the stand, so let's get you back into court.
Remember, you're talking to them. Please state your name for the record.
Jack Kowalski.
And where do you live, Mr. Kowalski?
I live in Venice, Florida, a community called Stonewalk.
And who was your wife?
Beata Kowalski.
And who are your children?
I have 3 children. My oldest is Corinne Franz. She lives in Wisconsin. Maya Kowalski, and my son, Kyle Kowalski.
And how old are you?
How old am I?
Yes.
62.
All right. So when the events of 2016 went down, you would have been, what, approximately 55?
Somewhere in that area, yes.
Tell us a little bit about your background. Where were you born?
I was born in Elmhurst, Illinois. It's a western suburb of Chicago.
Mm-hmm. And what'd your dad do?
My dad, he repaired air conditioners, Fedder's air conditioning, I believe. Then he moved here, and he was a boat captain in Tarpon Springs.
All right. And you go to high school up there?
I went to high school in Northlake, Illinois. It was called West Leiden High School.
And any college or any training after that?
Well, I started out in high school. They had a fire cadet program where I would go to the firehouse in my junior, senior year. It would be in the afternoon hours, Monday through Friday. And what we were able to do was learn the firefighting through the state of Illinois certificates. Ended up getting a firefighter state certified 2.
What's a 2?
It's the highest level at that point that I could have took.
So how old were you when you got that?
18, 19, somewhere in that area.
So when did was there any more training after that?
While I was still in high school, I was allowed, as long as my grades were good, I was able to go to Triton College for EMT. That's the basic.
Okay. And so are you, or were you, licensed or certified in that?
I was licensed, I don't know if they call it licensed or certified, but yes, I was.
So your medical knowledge there, you had some through the remainder of your life from this?
That was the beginning, and then I ended up in 1986, I was certified paramedic.
And so, but between you and Beata, who had more of the medical knowledge?
She did, by far.
All right. Okay. And so tell us a little bit about your career in the fire department. You came on as a cadet.
Yeah, once I was a cadet, I ended up, I was fortunate enough to become a fire dispatcher while I was still in high school. I would dispatch for that fire department, North Lake Fire Protection District. I would stay overnight, school bus pick me up, take me to school the next day. Made about $60 a day, which seemed like a ton of money at the time, but it was a great opportunity.
And did you stay in firefighting?
I stayed with Northlake until 1985, and I moved out to Phoenix, Arizona for a short period of time to help my sister with her landscape business. But while I was out there, I ended up going into it was like a cadet program through Phoenix Fire Department.
Got it. And so when you came back, what year would that have been to restart it in Chicago?
That would have been 1986. I received a letter while I was in Phoenix, Arizona, that I was accepted into the paramedic program at Loyola University Medical Center.
And so what was the next fire department that you worked for?
Almost as soon as I graduated paramedic school, I was very blessed. I ended up getting hired by Broadview Fire Department.
And did you stay with Broadview for very long?
For my whole career, 28 and a half years.
And what position did you start in?
Started out as a firefighter paramedic. We rotated. We had a 12-man shift. We were in a community. It's about 2.2 square miles. Don't sound like much, but there was a lot within that area. And then we also belonged to, it's called Division 20. It's about 16 other fire departments that we worked with. So it was a very large area, anywhere in between Midway Airport and O'Hare Airport.
So this was a suburb of Chicago?
That is correct.
A fairly populated area?
Very.
All right. And so as I don't want to call you a junior firefighter, but at that level of firefighting, what types of things did you have to know and do?
At our department, we rotated. So one day you're on the ambulance, next day you might be on the heavy-duty rescue squad, ladder truck, or the engine. So you had to be certified in everything, which was nice.
To see any fires?
A lot.
All right, and during that, I guess, did you have a specific task there that you were tasked to, either the hose or the ladder or anything like that?
No, like I said, we rotated, but in addition to that, there's specialty teams. There's a photo unit that I belong to, technical rescue, that's anything from confined space to high angle, going off a water tower, below grade, things like that. And I was also on the hazardous materials team for the division.
Now, in addition to the firefighting, did you also have some certificates from FEMA? If you explain what those are.
Yes, I had the basic FEMA certifications, the NIMS training, and then also I became certified as a FEMA certified safety officer. And that was for the urban search and rescue team. Illinois has a team, and I was part of that as well, which I was deployed to Katrina for that.
And did you actually go down to New Orleans for Katrina?
Yes, it was a 2-week deployment. We had, I believe, the first deployment was 100-piece apparatus and maybe 1,000 firefighters. I could be wrong, or that was 2 deployments. But we stayed for 2 weeks. I remember getting there, and it was very nasty, and my wife called me on the phone, and she was all upset the dishwasher broke, but I'm looking at water at top of roofs.
And the Superdome. Did you do the search and rescue job there? Is that what you were tasked to?
The state of Illinois went down there for humanitarian services to help out New Orleans Fire Department. Mm-hmm. All their fire departments were non-functional at the time, so we helped get them functional. And then we also had different teams, hazmat teams, firefighting. So yes, I was fortunate to be able to join up with FDNY from New York and fight fires. And then next day you might be doing decon, for hazmat, things like that.
Sure.
And then we also did humanitarian. We tried to get the firefighter and police officers' homes back in operation for them to come back and live.
So in 2001, you were promoted to deputy fire chief, is that right?
Prior to that, I was a lieutenant, 1998 to 2001. So, on the shift, there was a captain and lieutenant. There'd be one officer on the truck company, one on the engine company.
What did a lieutenant do?
dealt with a lot of problems. No, no, it was a great job. You overseeing your crew. Like I said, you could have been on the truck company or the engine, and you manage a small crew when you go to a fire.
All right. And so did you, in that same period of time, 2001, become involved in 9/11?
We did go to 9/11. At first, we were going to be deployed immediately. We had to run home, get clothes. I signed a bunch of checks. I was raising my daughter on my own, my oldest daughter at the time. So I went to her school to say goodbye to her. And then, like I said, I filled out a bunch of checks because I didn't know when I was going to come home. We went for a briefing near O'Hare Airport, and at that time they told us stand down because they were worried the potential of Chicago getting hit. So
Needed you back.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break from that. We're going to bring in our guest for this hour, trial attorney Kelly Hyman. Kelly, thank you so much for sticking around with us this afternoon. We're seeing Jack on the stand, so really good to hear from him right now, just being humanized for the jury here, talking about his background, his Midwestern roots, what he did, what his dad did. What are you seeing so far?
Kelly, you bring up really good points. Yes, so he's setting the stage. He's giving his background information. Here, this gentleman is a humanitarian. He fights fires. He serves the public. He's helping people, doing the right thing. That's going to be key. The story is going to be key. We also have to remember that Jack had firsthand knowledge. He was there through this whole experience. So his testimony is definitely going to be key for the plaintiffs in this matter.
It definitely will be. And Kelly, I don't know if you were listening to when the counsel, they were having discussions outside the presence of the jury, talking about this notice of lien. And one of the things that I was wondering, I mean, we have these medical bills, so they will not be responsible for, you know, this lien unless they receive this settlement from the jury. And we talk about $200 million. And when you're doing a case, $200 million seems like a lot of money to a lot of people. When you look at these medical bills, it can get eaten up right away. I think it's important for the jurors to know this. I know the judge is saying that maybe we're going to do a joint statement. We'll take up this matter later. What have been your thoughts on that?
That goes to the damages. That's key. And we talk about the amount of damages, but how much can you put for someone's life? Here, this mother committed suicide because allegedly of what she went through and what she was experiencing and not dealing with her daughter as well. And so the fact that there is a lien and potentially have to pay it, I think is something key that the juries need to consider ultimately, because if they do give a verdict, that amount is going to have to be deducted from what the plaintiffs receive in this matter.
100%, Kelly. And I know that counsel was saying, well, they're not going to be obligated to pay it, but I would think that it would still impact the Kowalski's finances no matter what. I mean, this is a financial matter, so I still think that it's really important for the jurors to have that information. So I guess we'll have to see what happens. Any more take on that?
No, I could agree with you more, Kelly. I definitely think that that's key, but potentially they'll reach some kind of stipulation so that way the jurors know exactly the ramifications of this lien and the potential effect of the lien as well.
Yeah, the jurors need to know that. All right, Kelly, thank you so much. Stick around. We're going to take a quick break. We have hit the pause button on Jack Kowalski's testimony. We're going to pick right back up with that after this break. So don't go anywhere. You are watching Court TV, your front row seat to justice.
There's a tragic outcome in this case.
Civil trial that is the focus of the Netflix documentary Take Care of Maya.
How a misdiagnosis tore their family apart.
They continue to accuse Jack and Beata of being child abusers.
Jack called me and said Beata just hung herself.
Is the hospital they're suing responsible for what happened?
The Take Care of Maya trial. Trial coverage today on Court TV.
And welcome back to Court TV Live. Let's get you right back into the civil case against a Florida Children's Hospital. The Kowalski family says not only did the hospital misdiagnose then 10-year-old Maya Kowalski, but they falsely imprisoned and battered her after she was admitted in 2016. Let's pick it up with Maya's dad, who is on the stand right now, Jack Kowalski.
Several weeks after that, we started sending a cruise to New York, and that was more for humanitarian services as well. So, yeah, we went to all the memorials and things like that.
So then from lieutenant, you became deputy fire chief, is that right?
That was in 2001, yes.
All right. And did you ever do anything in addition to going to 911 in terms of raising money for 9/11 firefighters and police officers?
Judge, object to the relevance.
Overruled.
The first time we went to New York, we were in front of a rescue company, and there was a woman walking back and forth, and I kind of stuck my foot in my mouth. I asked her if she was waiting for somebody, and she stated her husband died. She started talking about the kids, how the kids are not being able to handle it. They're pulling their eyelashes out and that.
Judge,
And at that
the
point,
relevance in the narrative.
It goes to something right now.
Let's get there, because this really is borderline.
I understand.
at that point, I felt the kids were not being taken care of. So I ended up going back to Illinois. I designed license plates for the state to raise money. So I made one for New York, and we went back with lots of money and called it Dad for a Day and made sure that we took care of the kids.
So tell the jury a little bit then about how old you were when you met Beata.
How old
I
was
respect
I?
that. Before we get into that, when did you leave the fire department to move down here?
I left in 2014. That was the summer, right before the children would start school here.
And then, so you retired in 2014?
Yes, after 28 and a half years.
And so what brought you to Florida?
The weather, to be able to be outside with the kids, do more. My wife and I, we do scuba diving. We traveled all over for that, and we just thought it'd be a great place to come. She was able to transfer, so it made it easier.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Do you remember meeting Beata?
I do. Like I stated, I raised my daughter on my own, my oldest daughter. My neighbors asked me to go out to dinner with them, and I was cutting the grass, and I told them no, and then they finally talked me into it. We're having dinner, and in walked this girl, and that was it. I knew she was it.
I take it you were introduced.
Yes, one of the firefighters' wives is also a nurse, and they came in for, it was like a drug rep, pharmaceutical rep. They had a back room, and they were doing a little talk on that.
Sure. And so how long was it before you were married?
It wasn't long, but
How long was the romance before marriage?
I don't recall, but it was real quick.
A matter of months?
Pardon me?
A matter of months?
Yes, yes.
All right. So what did you and Beata like to do after you, well, before and after you were married, although that was only a few months?
We built a house. We tore the house that I had on the property. We built a house for us and within 3 months. And then after that, it was planning on having a child.
Okay. And did you have any hobbies or things at this point in common you like to do?
I made wine, so she kind of liked that as well because she enjoyed her wine.
What was that?
The wine?
Oh, making the wine.
The wine,
We'll get
yes.
to the wine in a moment.
Yeah, and then the scuba diving. We
All
went
right.
all over scuba diving.
And I think we have a photograph with the court's permission, 2528-1. That would not be it.
That's not an evidence, Judge.
It's
What page?
2-28-21. Remember this trip?
I do.
Where was this?
I believe that was Belize.
Did you take just that one trip, or did you have other scuba trips?
We did several. Belize, Honduras, Mexico.
Was she certified?
Yes, she was an advanced diver.
And how were you at that time?
Just basic.
Okay. And did you enjoy these times with your wife?
This was a great time. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I was raising my oldest daughter on my own. It's been a while since I had a relationship, and I knew she was the person to be with.
Okay. And we do have one wedding photo at 2528-14. We can get that relatively quickly. Where were y'all married?
We had a cruise ship. We went on a cruise and we ended up getting married in Montego Bay, Jamaica. And then the family wasn't happy. We did that, so we had to have another wedding afterwards.
2?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about Beata. We want to know what kind of person she was.
Beata, at that time, she was working for Loyola University Medical Center. She was working in the cath lab. She was extremely dedicated to her job there. Loyola is a very big hospital. It's probably on a mile-long property. It's huge.
What did her job entail?
She worked within the cath lab. You know.
Catheters?
Yes.
Did she work at that job the entire time you were in Chicago?
After Maya was born, or around that time, she worked for Walgreens. And it's basically the same thing as with CVS, doing the infusion treatments.
Now, was Beata a kind of a retiring type, or was she more outgoing? How would you describe the personality there?
Beata was always on her feet, always looking to do better, not only for her, but everybody else around her.
An overachiever a bit?
By far.
All right.
Try to keep up with her. It's impossible.
And she was originally from where?
I'm going to say it wrong, but Stola Wola, Poland?
Okay.
Yeah, she came over at the age of 16, I believe.
And did that, from what you saw, influence her insofar as the way she dealt with things? The fact that she had come over.
We're going to take a quick break. Thank you to our guest this hour, Kelly Hyman, for joining me. And coming up, Judge Ashley. She is going to pick up our coverage. You are watching Court TV Live, your front row seat to justice. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back.